guys, and welcome back to another video of Anna does Pilates at home. Today's video is very much focused around posture, and with that it's working those rotator cuff muscles, which are all the muscles working in conjunction around the shoulder to get the movements working effectively. We are also going to work around mobility around our neck, around our shoulder blades and thoracic spine, which are all really important for a good posture, especially with kind of spending a lot of time in a forward position at a desk or at the phone or the computer and so on. So what we're going to start is in standing with a little warm up, and then we'll go and work in engaging those muscles and getting the mobility. But we'll also work on really engaging those core, because there's a big involvement of the whole body when we're doing shoulder movement. It's not just about the shoulder, so it's making sure that our core is nice and strong, nice and engaged also. So let's go ahead and get started in standing with our feet together, our heels apart and toes apart to find our neutral. As usual, just finding our nice neutral 50-50 between the two extremities of the pelvic tilt. And getting to that middle. Engaging the trans-abdominals, just tucking that belly button in slightly. And just take a moment to make sure that everything is nice and relaxed. So shoulders not too far forward, or we're not hunched forward around our thoracic spine and our shoulders or neck. So coming back the way, really engaging the core nice and straight, thinking of a string pulling us up to the ceiling. And from there, we're just going to stretch our neck, bringing our right ear to our right shoulder, allowing a nice stretch around our scalene, sternocleidomastoidea and upper traps. And feel free to also add another pressure with that hand pushing more forward the shoulder if you need a further stretch. And slowly coming back up and switch sides. And just nice relaxed breathing. And back up you come, just one more time on each side, ear to shoulder. Back up and switch sides. Make sure you don't let the shoulders shrug up. And coming back to the middle. Shrugging the shoulders up this time, breathing in. Shrugging them down. Breathing out, letting all the tension go. Coming up, breathe in, shrugging up. Breathe out. Shrug down. One more time like this. And out. This time going into some gentle circles, shrugging and rolling forward. You might feel a bit of clicking, cracking. That's just the tension, the bubbles of air getting released. And then rolling our shoulders back away. Opening up around that pec, around the front. And coming back. Crossing your arms, making sure your shoulders hasn't shrugged up to your ears. Everything's still nice and relaxed and your knees a little bit soft. From there, we're going to go into thoracic twist. So we're going to rotate to one side, but note that the movement is coming from my upper part. My pelvic area, lower legs are not moving at all. So we don't want this. Otherwise, we're not getting the muscles and the stretched and the mobility around the thoracic area. So twisting to one side. And coming back. Breathing out, twisting other side. Breathing in, coming back, and again. And you can look over to your shoulder as well to add a bit more of a stretch. And back, and again, make sure that pelvis is not following you. And coming back to the middle. This time just alternating your feet, coming up onto your toes into kind of a bicycle in standing. And adding arms nice and tall coming up to the ceiling, and then back behind you, keeping the arms nice and straight, really opening up those shoulder blades with that toy soldier movement. And just go to the speed that you're comfortable with and match your breathing to your speed. For instance, there, breathing out for 2, in for 2, like so. Making the next one our last one, and coming back. Crossing the arms, we're going to go into Cleopatra. So from there, the hands are going to open up, going to straighten our elbows, and as we do that, palm down, and then coming back up. And again, opening arms, coming up into almost like a bird's position, palms down, and then coming back. Let's go ahead and do that onto our toes to work on our balance. So lifting the heels up, opening up, really engaging those abdominals to keep you nice and steady, and then coming back down, making sure you're still nice and tall. Lengthening, coming up and back. Breathe in, prepare, out, coming up, in, hold, out, down. And again. On the next one, we are now going to bend our knees down and let those hands lower down to the ground. Just into a little bubble there, and then straightening your legs, stretching those hamstrings, getting the back a little stretch as well. Before you go into a reverse roll, so coming up the way, vertebrae per vertebrae, back to our neutral position. Same again, coming up to Cleopatra, bending those knees, coming down, straightening those legs, and rolling back up. And just one more time. And gently back up, you come to neutral. Working around our core and our muscles a little bit more, we're going to go and point forward, staying nice and tall. We are there going to do a few pulses, then we're going to go out to the side for a few pulses and back away. Note that I've not moved my pelvis, my hips at all, so I'm not hip hitching, dropping, staying nice and tall with the core engaged, and then switching sides, pointing for 5, then out to the sides into our abductors for 5, and into our extensors of our hip for 5. If you feel that that's challenging enough in terms of your balance, in terms of the control around the abdominals, stay doing it that way. Otherwise, up in the air and stay nice and tall. There might be that one leg feels more difficult than the other, and that's normal. And switching sides, so nice and long, happy that you haven't hitched, and just as high up as you can control. And coming back. For the breathing, just make sure you don't hold your breath. Everyone's different with this speed, but breathing out and breathing in. And one more time other side. Making sure your shoulders are still nice and open. Remember, we're working on the posture. And back. Next exercise is worthwhile having a band if you've got one, but if you don't, then don't worry about it. You can also do the movement. So if you do have the band, either with a little knot and then just holding it like so, or you can have it without your knot. Just making sure it's not around your thumb, that it's around the hand, so that we're activating the right muscle groups. The movement of the hand is a little bit of tension against the band, or your hand coming out the way in order to engage the rotator cuff muscles, the shoulder blades muscles at the back, like you're getting a pen squeezed in between your shoulder blades. So squeezing the shoulder blades and coming back. Once you're happy with that motion, you are going to bring the arms up the way. So coming out the way and then keeping that length, keeping that engagement, lengthening the arms up. And then back down. Tension out, bringing arms up. And coming down. What you need to watch is that you're not, again, just bringing the shoulder up and shrugging up and overactivating those muscles that we always kind of kick in a bit too much. Now we're going to go into a lunge with that movement. So we're going to bend down, right leg forward, nice and tall. The back is not overextending or over flexing. Core is engaged. Tension of those arms out to the side and up to the ceiling. And then slowly back up you come. Switching sides, bending left leg forward, right leg back, as much as you can, knee in line with the big toe directly. Tensioning arms out, bringing the arms up, and coming back. So again, if you're without the band, same idea again, tensioning, engaging here, lifting the arms up, and back, and switching sides. One more on each side. If you're free to go into a deeper lunge. And just make sure that you are not, again, compensating with the back kicking in at the end. And coming back. Again, with the band or without the band, same movement again, this time going into split squats. So toes pointing out to the side and coming down into the split squat. And from there, arm up and back up. Breathe out, split squat. Breathe in, hold. Arm with or without the band up. Breathe out, back up. And just make sure you take your time each time to reset your posture. Everything is still nice and relaxed as much as possible. Last one. And coming back up. So our last two exercises are going to be on our mat. So if you'd like to come onto your stomach, we're going to go into swimming. Your hands are going to be on top of your hands, nice and relaxed, and your head onto your forehead, but feel free to have a little towel instead if you're not liking the sensation of the nose getting squished. Making sure you're still in that pelvic neutral position, even on your stomach, with the transabdominals engaged. And what happens is we lengthen the opposite hand with the opposite leg, with the hand and the leg lengthening away from the body and being lifted up just slightly before coming back down. Then opposite side, lengthening away and up and back, trying to engage your buttock muscles as well to make sure your lower back is not curving. Lengthening up and back, lengthening up and back. So feel free to continue doing it in that motion. Otherwise, you can do it on all four. So making sure that you are in a neutral position, back nice and flat and long, thinking of it, train the lower back with some liquid, and you wouldn't pull anything because you're nice and straight. Thinking as well about engagement of that tummy and engaging around the neck, so that we are all flat, neck nice and long, looking in between the hands. Same idea again, lengthening and up. So either way, you need to really watch that you are not tilting at your pelvis, that you're staying very much in the middle. This is a really great exercise to work the kinematic chain, the involvement of the different muscle groups, to make you do the day-to-day activities, to make you have a very strong core foundation. The breathing either way, you breathe out to come up and in to come back. 5 more on each side. And do reset yourself, make sure trans-abdominals are still kicked in, that belly in, that neck long. And again, making sure that you are still nice and stable, that you've not started dropping on either side as you're getting more tired. When you've done your 5, going to have a little rest. So if you were onto your tummy, then come back onto all 4. And from then, dropping down onto your knees with your hands forward. Into a nice big stretch there. You can push those hands against the mat to add a bit more of a stretch that way. Or you can choose to walk your hands further away from your body. And from there, walking your hand to the right hand side, giving it a nice big stretch on the opposite side, stretching that whole back, the whole erector spinae. Go ahead and do the same on the other side. And coming back. In your own time, you're going to drop on your back. What we're going to do is some abdominal prep with hundreds to again really work the abdominals, really work those arms and that control around the posture. So on your back, finding your neutral, your feet together, heels apart and toes apart, and those knees bent. Lower back nice and flat. Ribs nice and sink down against the mat. Hands relaxed out to the side. Neck nice and long with that imaginary fruit between the chin and the chest. From there, the abdominal prep motion is thinking about your hands being lengthened away from your body. And the ribs sinking down the way to bring you up. So it's not the head lifting you up, it's very much ribs sinking down, arms lengthening. The hundreds part is the hands lengthened as well, but they go into pulses. And it's called hundreds because you're expected to do 100 pulses. The 2 movements together, goes coming up the way, arms up and pulses. And you breathe out for 5. And in for 5, making sure your back is nice and flat, your ribs are not coming off doming, your neck is still nice and long, kind of looking just above your knees. Have a rest every 20. If you want to make it harder, work around the endurance, then you can do 50 or 100 at once. This is the first level. You may choose to go into single tabletop as well, or into tabletop, making sure that you're familiar with the movement. If you're doing it that way, back is still flat, abdominal still engaged. Doing it in the single tabletop, just make sure after the 20 or so that you switch to the other leg. Good job, guys. Hopefully you're feeling your abdominals working by now. When you've done your 100, you can bring your knees to your chest and just start sit in that position. In your own time, we're going to roll back onto all fours. Just to stretch a little bit further. So we're going to go into some cats and camels, making a nice big ball looking down, and then curving that lower back, looking up, breathing out, coming down the way, breathing in back up. To the normal on all four. From there we're going to go into thread the needle. So my left hand is going to come underneath the right hand, lengthening as far away as I can, either keeping your hand straight and bending your elbows slightly, but trying to keep your lower back in the lower part nice and stable. So again, it's thinking about the movement coming very much from the shoulder rather than just kind of tilting around the hips. Make your eyes follow the hand to lengthen. Breathe out, lengthen. Breathe in back. Last one. Well done. In your own time, bringing your feet to your hands, you're going to go into a reverse roll, but just straightening your legs to start with, giving those hamstrings a nice stretch. And then rolling back up, vertebrae per vertebrae, all the way up. Coming down into a roll down again. Chin to chest, shoulders follow, vertebrae per vertebrae, all the way down as low down as you're happy to go. It may be that you want to bend your knees slightly depending on your hamstring flexibility, because we are going to grab the left hand onto the right foot to open up into a nice big twist. Again, looking at your hand, opening up the shoulder blade. You may want to bring that hand away from the body further to add to the stretch. Then coming back, switching to the other side, right hand, left leg, opening that left arm up to the ceiling. And coming back, and again. And back. Other side. And back. And let's go again. And roll back up. All the way up. From there, keeping knees soft, bringing your arms all the way up to the ceiling and opening the arms down back to the side of our body. And that is us. Well done, everybody. Hope that you have enjoyed today's session. If you have, then as usual, please go back down, subscribe, like, comment, you know what to do. I hope to see you all very soon again, and bye bye just now.